Hi, I had filmed this video on the 28th of November last year. As I'm recording this voiceover, it is now currently the 21st of March, the year later. In this video, I still have my long locks. I look much different, and even listening to this message again, I'm also picking up on different lessons, and also seeing how I can actually see this lesson basically still being relevant to my life with the added additives. I don't know how to explain it, but when people say that you can never get tired of reading the Bible, it is so true. Messages still apply, messages grow, messages evolve, and more lessons come onto it. And hopefully, if I'm not the lazy bum that I currently am, and the spirit of sloth leaves my body, I hope to actually make a follow-up video discussing why perhaps it is such a struggle to be obedient, and the concept of Egypt, romanticizing your Egypt, and feeling like you were comfortable where you were, and the discomfort of change discouraging you to move forward. There's a lot I can touch on that because it was like lessons that I kind of learned as well. But this voice note isn't supposed to be too long. It's just a brief intro letting you know that this is a very old video from November last year, and I hope it still blesses you like it blessed me after rediscovering this unfinished video. And may the Lord bless you and keep you, and may His favor be upon you, and that this message helps you in some way. God bless. I've recently been in a season where I have been receiving so many calls to action from God. However, nothing had been done. Yesterday, as I was scrolling through TikTok, a girl came up on my For You page, and she was sharing her testimony about how she just completely had faith in God. And that faith in God led her to obey Him fully, not halfway, fully. And because she obeyed God, He blessed her tenfold. When you are connected with God, when you get into your word every day, when you pray to God every day, He reveals the plans, and He reveals the commands and what He wants you to do with your life. He reveals that to you, right? And it is because of our faith in God that will lead us to obeying and following those instructions. Now, in my case, I was receiving these instructions constantly. However, I struggled so deeply, so profoundly to follow those instructions. After seeing that testimony, and after doing reflection on my life, and after being like, hey, God has been revealing to you so many things, yet you have not been following them at all, I took it upon myself to go out, search for a book or search for a Bible reading or something. I went to Google and I Googled specifically books on obedience. There's a mosquito in my room. I Googled books on obedience, and the book that came up was Deuteronomy. I'm only one chapter in Deuteronomy, and already in that one chapter that I've read, I've learned so much about God's character
and how he operates when it comes to us receiving guidance and obeying him. Okay, in Deuteronomy 1 verse 21, I noted down this specific verse. Look, the Lord your God has set the land before you. Go up and possess it, as the Lord God of your father has spoken to you. Do not fear or be discouraged. This is essentially talking about when God has placed a desire or has shown you your purpose in life, right? He placed a desire in your heart. He's basically brought you to it. He's brought you to a desire. In this scenario, God has brought the Israelites to the land. So he has brought you to your desire. He has brought you to a goal. Obviously, this goal, this desire, it was set to bring glory onto his name, right? He has brought you to it. All you need to do is grab it. He has shown you the reward, which is achieving this desire. He gives us encouragement by saying, do not be discouraged. He's reminding us that we should not be discouraged. Why? Because we have the God of the entire universe on your side. You should not be afraid, because if God is supporting it, nothing can stop it. But now, we see later on in verses 25 to 27 that we tend to disobey God and we complain about our situation based on what we see in the physical, because we tend to forget that this fight, that this war, that this journey, that everything that we're doing is mainly spiritual. Now let's actually read verses 25 to 27. They also took some of the fruit of the land in their hands and brought it down to us, and they brought back word to us, saying, it is a good land which the Lord your God is giving us. Nevertheless, you would not go up, but rebelled against the command of the Lord your God, and you complained in your tents and said, because the Lord hates us, he has brought us out to the land of Egypt to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us. The reason why the Israelites were saying this is because the Amorites were physically bigger than the Israelites. The Israelites saw the Amorites. They're like, we have no chance. And they gave up. And because they saw the physical, because they focused on what was right in front of them, rather than focusing on who and what was sustaining them, who was behind them, who was on the side of them, who was in front of them, who was all around them, because they weren't focusing on God, essentially, they got discouraged. And that discouragement led to disobedience. In verse 28, it carries on by saying, where can we go up? Our brethren have discouraged our hearts, saying, the people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and fortified up to heaven. Moreover, we have seen the sons of Anakim there. The Israelites were pointing out these physical things done by man, that their buildings were tall and strong, that their men were tall and strong as well, that they seemed to have been fortified and They were so focused on what was in front of them in terms of the physical. They were so focused on what they saw at the surface that they completely forgot about who was supporting them. And because they forgot who was supporting them, that led to them being disobedient. In verse 29, it says, "Then I said to you, do not be terrified or afraid of them. The Lord your God, who goes before you, will fight for you, according to all he did for you in Egypt before your eyes, and in the wilderness where you saw how the Lord your God carried you as a man carries his son, in all the way that you went until he comes to this place. If for all that you did not believe the Lord your God." I hope you see where I'm trying to get here. I hope. Because you did not believe in God, because you do not have faith in God, that caused you to disobey God. And because you disobey God, you will not be able to receive the blessing that God has set out for you. The Israelites had the land in front of them. God instructed them to go up that hill, to go up that mountain, and go possess that land. But because they were so reliant on their strength, and because they forgot, they did not have faith in God to show up for them like he has done in the past, they saw these tall Amorites and these with strength and their tall buildings, which is like so puny compared to God. They saw that and they got discouraged. Do not conform to the ways of this world. Meaning, not only does it say like you shouldn't just fall into the habits and patterns of this world, but it's also do not view things the way the world views things. Because it's the world that says you won't be able to get that promotion because of what you are qualified for. But it's God that says you will get that promotion regardless, because I am God and I say that. God is the one who's saying, here's your blessing. Go get it. Go grab it. And if you have faith in God, you'll trust that he will get that blessing is yours. So many of us have been shown and revealed what God wants for us. But we often miss out on that because we're so focused on the physical. When it's like, God is not operating physically in the physical way that you want it to be like. It says lean not onto your own understanding. Not because God doesn't want to but it's because when we lean onto our own understanding, that's when we miss out on such great opportunities to be on this receiving end of God's blessings and to be walking testimonies of his glory and everything. How can we be called walking testimonies if we don't have faith in God and that he will rescue us, that he will provide for us like he promises? The Bible is filled with multiple promises from God saying that he will make sure that you're provided for, that you are well taken care of, that you are watched over and protected, so you have nothing to fear, so that you have nothing to worry about, so you can really just remain unbothered. But because we are so focused on aspects of this world that we forget to have faith in God in the first place. And because of that lack of faith, we don't obey God. So when he says go to that job application and apply anyways, even if you feel like your lack of qualification or whatever, we don't do it. When we could be having a nice job or whatever, we don't. When God says, oh no, you should take that video and upload it onto whatever and share this gospel, we say, oh, but then like I have this, that, the other. No, babe. You are deemed qualified by God. You understand what I'm saying? I think I should cut that part. Yeah. Deuteronomy 1 really tackles you to figure out whether or not you have faith in God or do you have faith in yourself. Are you focused on what God can do for you, or are you focused on what you feel like you can do for the world? Are you trying to qualify yourself based on the qualifications deemed by the world? Or are you qualifying yourself simply because God qualified you? God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And if God is calling you, simply all you have to do is answer and obey. He has brought you into the land. He has brought you to your desire. All you have to do is go possess it. That's all you have to do. And to possess it, you have to have faith. And with that faith, you have to obey. No one else but God. Trust that God will provide for you.